What's up, guys? Potbelly Pigs for Life here, and today we're here with the third update video for Augustus Zoo. So, hasn't been too long since we've been back here. If you remember, last time the update was so small that we were able to fit it in a Conservation Carnival episode. Don't worry, that series will be returning soon, where we added the Red River Hogs, which are right here, happy as can be. So, however, this episode, this update is going to be a lot larger. So, yeah, so, as you guys all know, recently, the Arid Pack dropped for Planet Zoo, and with it came 7 new habitat species that live in Africa. So, yeah, we have quite a lot of work to do. So, specifically, a lot of them are going to be going in the desert. However, yeah, we don't really have that much room. But one thing I do have is a plan. So, bear with me, because I'm going to be doing a lot of talking these next few minutes. So, my plan is, since the meerkats, the aardvarks, and the scimitar horned oryx need a certain amount of grass, we're going to be moving them out of the desert section. And I updated a few of my other zoos, mainly my endangered species zoo that I showed you guys a few months ago for National Endangered Species Day. And basically almost all the animals have a very unhealthy obsession with sand. So because of that, a lot of them are going to be going in the desert section. So here's what we're going to do. So we're going to split the scimitar horned oryx enclosure in half. Half of it is going to be the new fennec fox enclosure, and the other half is going to be for the sandcats. Then we're going to combine the meerkat and aardvark enclosure with the old fennec fox enclosure to house 4 of the other animals, those being the Bactri camel, the Dama gazelle, the addax, and the Somali wild ass. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Then you might be wondering, where are all those other animals going to go? And so, basically, I've been thinking, so this right here is the whole African safari section, so like African savanna-esque type thing. Anyways, so I've come to realize that this area is pretty disorganized. So what I mean by that is, so a lot of the animals in this, like, area of the zoo can be found all over Africa. However, there are some animals that can only be found in certain sections of Africa. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to split up Africa into sections based on, like, what region it is. So, so I've already got a basic idea in mind for some of them. So, this area right over here, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but if you can, this area circling it is going to be based on the Sahel region. So the Sahel region, if we pull up a map of Africa, perfect, we're on aardvarks. The Sahel region is the region between the Congo Rainforest and the Sahara Desert, so right along here. And that's going to include the hippos and the Nile trees, as well as the lions, meaning these 2 animals, or 3 animals, are completely fine where they are, and we don't need to make any changes. However, so while the Nile monitor is from the Sahel region, I'm pretty sure if we open the Zoopedia, let's see, Zoopedia. Yeah, so these guys are from the Sahel region. However, I think they'd be better off in another section. I'll explain later. So, because of that, what's going to happen is this is going to become the new striped hyena enclosure. And this section over here, which currently has animals from the Serengeti, mainly the reticulated giraffe, the Thompson's gazelle, the plains zebra, and the African buffalo, those guys are going to be moved elsewhere. and we're going to have an exhibit for the African elephant, the common warthog, and the scimitar horned oryx. Oh yeah, and we'll also make a little section, like probably in this corner over here, for the African crested porcupine. Oh yeah, I also should mention that we're gonna completely scrap the safari tour in replacement for our new one. So yeah, we're gonna get rid of that, and we're gonna completely redo the safari tour. But anyways, so that's gonna be the Sahel region. We'll move these animals elsewhere. Then right over here, so this is going to be based around the like southeastern area of Africa. So I know a perfect animal for that, Nyalas. So this area right over here is going to be what this area is based around. So what we're gonna do is we're going to move the cheetahs and the painted dogs elsewhere, as well as, of course, the striped hyenas, but we already know where they're gonna go. And we're gonna combine this whole area into a section for the Nyalas, the sable antelopes, the black wildebeest, and I think instead of doing the southern white rhino, we're gonna do the black rhino. And then the spotted hyenas are, again, totally fine where they are. So, basically what you can see by the pattern is that there's going to be like a bunch of herbivores per each section. However, in each section there needs to be at least one carnivore, you know, to maintain a healthy ecosystem. So we've got 2 out of the 4 sections figured out. We've got the Kalahari and the Serengeti animals, like, sorted out. However, I currently have no idea exactly what I want to do for those sections. We're probably gonna, like, expand, like, over here and maybe put a guest section. You know, I was also thinking of maybe making, like, another way to get to, India. But we'll see. So I already mentioned for the Sahel region, we're doing the West African lions and the striped hyenas. For Southeast Africa, we're doing the spotted hyenas. Serengeti is going to be the painted dogs. And the Kalahari is going to be cheetahs and Nile monitors. Basically, the reasoning behind this is cheetahs eat small hoofstock, such as the springbok, which is from the Kalahari. They're also fast enough to catch ostriches, as well as take those down. They'll also eat, like, aardvarks, I'm pretty sure, and they'll eat blue wildebeest calves. So then the Nile monitors, basically these guys eat eggs, so ostrich eggs, and they also eat small mammals, so meerkats. So yeah, it pretty much works well. Oh yeah, and then we're also going to put these southern white rhinos here, because if we go to the southern white rhinos, Zoopedia, yeah, they pretty much live in the Kalahari, so we'll move them over here. So yeah, as you can tell, we have got quite a lot to do, so we might as well get started. So what I think I'm going to start is, we're going to start by moving a bunch of the animals into the trade center. So what I think I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with the Nile monitors. Send them to the trade center. And the striped hyenas. So I know what I'm going to do with the striped hyenas. Oh yeah, and also we need to keep an eye out for some of these animals. Alright, so I'm done with my shopping spree. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move the striped hyenas. Alright guys, so kicking off the time-lapse with the striped hyena enclosure, made the water a little bit more shallow for the striped hyenas, and also lots of terrain work to accommodate their needs. Yeah, so I do apologize that the video is coming out a little bit later than I had planned. So basically what ended up happening was Tuesday the 20th, that was when the DLC came out. I basically updated a few other zoos. I may have said this earlier in the video. But yeah, so, yeah, I updated my endangered species zoo and a few of my, other zoos to, check out the animal requirements. And then, after that, I recorded the first part of the video. Yes, I'm recording a lot of these videos in chunks and then, like, editing them, to see how much more, time that I'm working with. And then Wednesday and Thursday was just working on this zoo because, yeah, there was a lot of experimentation going into the zoo because I did not have, like, a really, like, basic, like, I did have a basic plan, but, like, it wasn't, like, too in-depth about, like, where everything was going to go exactly. So, yeah, so because of that, it took me quite a while to get a good understanding of where I wanted everything to go. So yeah, so as you can see right now, resizing a lot of the enclosures, also, making room for the African crested porcupine. So, cause, yeah, you can't forget about that. Even though that they, like, need, like, soil and sand, I'm deciding to put them in the Sahel region because, well, we need a little bit more, representation. My plan was to also put the, Dama gazelles and the Attics into the Sahel region, but no, they, definitely go better in the, desert because of their unhealthy obsession of sand. I mean, to their defense, this is an arid pack. Honestly, it really should just be called the Africa Pack 2.0. Like, yes, the pack is amazing, as well as all the animals in it. But it would have been nice to see some animals from, like, North America, South America. I've seen a lot of people who said that they want animals from Central Asia, like, for example, the Saiga antelope. That would have been cool. Maybe some more Australian animals. But honestly, for me, it's mostly, like, North America and South America. Especially, like, South America, yes, it does have some good representation for, like, the tropical and, like, grassland area, but not really, like, the, desert area of South America. But regardless, this is a really, really nice pack with some really nice animals. It just would have been nice to see some more continents. Alright, I'm done criticizing you, Frontier. So, yeah, for this, like, transportation ride, I decided to add in, like, a little bit of a station, so that way, like, the, safari ride, like, isn't out in the open. I saw Best in Slot do this with, like, a train station. Part of me is even wondering if I should do it for Conservation Carnival. Though, granted, there is a, train station, like, in my town where, like, there isn't really, like, a huge, like, building in front of the departing station. Like, you know that, like, station where you're, like, waiting for the train? Basically, how my, like, local train station is set up is that, like, basically, it's just an outdoor waiting area for the train. There's, like, a little, like, booth where you can get tickets for the train, but there isn't, like, an indoor, like, waiting area. It's literally just an outdoor area. Alright, so after a long while of experimenting, I finally was able to, set up a new, safari tour. So yeah, I also, decided to add this building to, like, you know, spruce things up a little bit, not make it, like, look super empty, I guess. And so yeah, I think it looks a lot better than it did. Might just change this path really quickly. So it's that. And yeah, I might do that too. Oh yeah, that looks great. So now all we have left to do is the exhibits. So as you can see here, I made a little bit of an extension to the striped hyena enclosure. I'll do that. And this is going to be the African crested porcupine enclosure. So yeah, we have a lot of work that we need to get done. So because of that, I think from here on out, I'm just going to time-lapse it. So yeah, let's get this thing done. Alright, so that was time-lapse break number 1. You could tell by my voice that I was, like, very, like, excited, like, yeah, let's do this, like, but then, like, you could, like, tell by my voice, like, later in the, like, for some of the later, time-lapse breaks that I'm just like, ugh, let's just get this thing over with. But yeah, so, like, it's not that I, like, wasn't having fun with it, it was that, like, it was, like, such, like, long, hard work, and, probably one thing I should have done is, like, recording this, is I probably should have, like, taken some breaks to, like, go outside and, like, get some exercise and touch grass. So yeah, I was able to take, like, a little bit of a break from this, like, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because, so Friday, my church had a, like, block party, so that was a lot of fun. I went with my grandmother, my grandmother's sister, so my great aunt, and my cousin, and then Saturday we were doing, some, like, house renovations, like, mostly just moving some furniture around, so I was helping with that. And Sunday we went over Wizard Gaming's house to go swim in their pool. So yeah, that's pretty fun. So yeah, if you guys remember Wizard Gaming, I made that video with him like a year ago, almost a year ago. Man, this channel is coming up on 2 years old. That's crazy. But yeah, so yeah, so then it's just experimenting with, like, the path and, like, where I'm gonna place, the enclosures. I did end up getting an idea for what I want to do, for the enclosures, yeah, so, definitely having to, like, make sure that there's, like, enough room, and also, like, just, like, planning out, like, where everything's going to go. So yeah, so that part was, like, pretty fun, but like I said, I think I was just tired and I needed to touch some grass, so yeah. Anyway, so that's enough about my personal life. Now, on to the real grueling part, that is the tour, because, yeah, so the tour rides in Planet Zoo are nothing like the tour rides in Jurassic World Evolution 2. Like, you gotta, like, do, like, all sorts of, like, finagling with, like, the habitat gates and, like, so much other stuff, like, making sure that, like, everything is, like, perfect for placing the track. So yeah, because of that, it was a little bit annoying switching between, like, track, then barrier, then back to track, then back to, like, multi-select so I could delete some of these foliage pieces. So yeah, but eventually I did get a pretty good idea for what the tour was going to look like. It was able to cover 3 out of the 4 safari zones, so it was just that, like, little, like, eastern, like, southeastern Africa. I don't really know what that region is called, but, like the coast near, like, Madagascar, but south of, like, Kenya and Tanzania. So yeah, Alright guys, so just taking a pit stop with the time lapse. This is what I got done with the basic plan. So this is going to be the Sahara region, like I said. This is going to be the Kalahari section, so with the white rhinos, blue wildebeest, ostriches, and springbok. This will be the new cheetah exhibit right over here. Right next to it will be the exhibit for the Nile monitors. This will be for the meerkats and aardvark. This will be the Serengeti section, and then right over here is going to be an area for the painted dogs. So that's pretty much the plan. I still have a lot to get done, and it's already been, like an hour and a half of recording, so I do apologize for the length of this video. Also, one other problem is that I keep getting distracted because, my friends and I that I haven't seen for like a long time have just been like catching up on things. So we've been texting each other while I've been recording this. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I just keep getting distracted. So, let's get back to work. Okay, so this is the time-lapse section where we move all of our animals into their new enclosures. So starting with the cheetahs, what I decided to do is just move their enrichment from their first exhibit over to their new exhibit. So I also did some path work connecting the path over by what's going to be the meerkat and aardvark enclosure, as well as the Nile monitoring enclosure. And I connect that path all the way over to the, guest area by where people get off of the tour. I also, got a new shelter for the lions, because that first shelter was just way too small for them. And I also moved the Kalahari animals, so like the blue wildebeest, the ostrich, and the springbok. So then connecting up the tour ride, adding in that station that I mentioned earlier, and also doing a little bit of finagling with the path. But yeah, eventually I figured out something that I ended up liking. And then really at this point, the only exhibit that I had to build was the painted dog exhibit. Adding in like some guest facilities and like making this place look nice and pretty. Connecting the boardwalk so that way people can get to the area without having to get carsick. So then this is me adding in the staff area for this little section, so that way we can get a bunch of the other animals in, like the animals in the Sahel region, as well as like the painted dogs, the aardvarks, meerkats, and Nile monitors. That's pretty much all I have to say. So, it's pretty much just getting some animals and adding some guest facilities. That's pretty much all I have to say for this section of the time-lapse, and I'll see you at the next time-lapse break. And that's all of the former animals complete. Well, not all of them. Still have to do this little safari area. But that's going to have the black rhinos in it. So that's why I'm saving it for last. And we still have to do the fennec fox enclosure, as well as all of these other desert animals. Honestly, one thing I might even do is I might decrease the size of the Bactrian camel enclosure by just a little bit. Maybe split it like right down here, so that way they still have a little bit of water, but also the enclosure next door has a little bit of water. But yeah, so let's see, anything else? Oh yeah, I forgot I still have to do the African crested porcupines. I'll do that too. And then after that, it's pretty much just decorating and adding foliage, which I think I'm gonna do off camera along with the education boards, because, well, I mean, it's not the most interesting thing, and also this video is already long enough as it is. But I will definitely make sure to show you guys a little bit more in detail, like the decorations and stuff. So yeah, let's get those new animals. Okay, so now that we're adding in some of the new species into their exhibits, now it's time for some animal facts. So to start, we're going to start with the African crested porcupine. So when you look at a porcupine, you might be confused as to what they're related to. Well, it turns out that porcupines are actually rodents, meaning that they're related to animals such as squirrels, chipmunks, mice, rats, beavers, woodchucks, and many others. With that being said, the African crested porcupine is the largest living species of rodent in Africa. Also, when porcupines are first born, their quills are very soft and delicate, but then harden as they get older. I remember hearing this fact from Wildcrats, and speaking of babies, a baby porcupine is referred to as a porcupet, which is kind of cute, if you ask me. So, now, moving on to the black rhinos. So, for this fact, I just wanted to mention a way to differentiate between the black rhino and the white rhino, which was added in the Africa pack. So, there are several differences between the two species of rhino, and no, it's not just the fact that one is black and one is white. In fact, it's not even the case at all, since both species are gray. So, the big difference that helps me determine them is by looking at their lips. White rhinos have a rectangular, box-shaped top lip, whereas black rhinos have a triangular, pointed top lip. There are other differences such as varying sizes and physiques, but that's the big difference that helps me differentiate between the two. Okay, now moving on to the sandcat. One thing that I find really cool about sandcats is that rather than purring or meowing like domesticated cats, they actually bark like dogs do. When I was building their enclosure, I heard some barking, which at first I thought was from the fennec foxes next door, but then I realized that was actually coming from the sandcats. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I also found out that, unlike many other animals, different sandcat populations breed at different intervals during the year. So, for example, these sandcats that live in the Sahara Desert breed from January to April. In Turkmenistan, breeding season begins in April, and in Pakistan, breeding season lasts from September to October. It's unsure exactly why this is the case, but many scientists believe that it's because of available resources and climate at any given time. And this flexibility in breeding allows for the sandcats in captivity to breed multiple times per year, which means that they are able to have multiple litters of offspring. Okay, so now moving on to the dromedary camel. So the dromedary camel is the tallest species of camelid in the world, with males reaching as tall as 3.6 meters at the shoulders. The dromedary camel also makes up a whopping 94% of the world's total camel population, with the Bactrian camel making up the rest of the 6%. So yeah, I kind of find it funny that the dromedary camel was added to both Planet Zoo and Minecraft at relatively the same time. Anyways, I digress. So now moving on to the Somali wild ass. So to start, the Somali wild ass is the direct ancestor of the domesticated donkey. They were first domesticated by African herders more than 7,000 years ago in Nubia, which is a region in Sudan. They are also the smallest wild species of equine alive today, reaching only 1.5 meters in height. With that being said, these guys can have a territory of up to 9 square miles large. So for such a small equine, they need quite a large territory. Okay, so now onto the Dama gazelle. So I couldn't find much about the Dama gazelle, but I did find out that the Dama gazelle is the tallest species of gazelle, reaching nearly 1 meter in height. This is made possible by their long legs, which are used for both keeping their body away from the scorching hot sand, but to also provide extra surface area to radiate heat. Okay, so last but certainly not least, the addax. So for starters, the addax is one of the few antelope species in which the males and females both have the same horn length. These antelopes are also known for digging in the sand where they rest. These depressions can be found behind large boulders to protect against the sun's heat. And just like that, the new and improved desert section is complete. So, man, I have to say, this exhibit looks really awesome. So, right over here, we've got some Dama gazelles, we've got the dromedaries, or one of the dromedaries, got some of the addax, we've got the Somali wild ass, and we've got some different looking dromedaries with like different like skin patterns and whatnot. We got sand cats right over here. Oh, they're in the burrow, I think. Yeah, they're both in the burrow. Yep, right in there. I'm keeping it paused because actually, yeah, we could probably unpause it. Maybe. Yeah. If it gets too laggy, then I'll pause it again. And speaking of burrows, I found out, like, not too long ago, that, the fennec foxes can now use the burrows, and so can the Chinese pangolins. So, one very small update that I'm gonna do in, Samurai Sanctuary is, I'm gonna do this off camera because it's such a small update, is I'm going to give the Chinese pangolins I'm gonna give a burrow. Like, I know they already have a burrow, but like an actual like in-game burrow, because yeah. And speaking of burrows, these Somali wild asses are mating. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that burrow is another word for a donkey. So yeah, yeah, already they're expecting offspring, which is great because these guys are critically endangered, and it'll definitely help with conservation efforts. Let's see, not much has happened over here. Hyenas, or spotted hyenas are fine, at least. Right in here, somewhere in here, we've got the black rhino. Right in here, happy as can be with all these other animals. Like I mentioned, the facts, we've got that triangular shaped lip. Yep, they seem to be getting along just fine, along with all the other animals in this new enclosure. We've got the striped hyenas in their new enclosure. Oh yeah, I did the, I did all the, what you call it, education boards off camera, because that's even more grueling and tedious and would not make for good content. Dama gazelle is also expecting offspring. Ooh, right over here we've got the African crested porcupine. Man, these guys are like really cool. Drinking some water because it's very hot here in Africa. And then we've got the new safari zone. So, yeah, we've got the Sahara region in here. I didn't really have to make too many changes in the enclosures. I mean, I just had to, like, add, like, some enrichment. Like, oh gosh, the lag. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I should pause this. So, we've got the Sahara region with the elephants, the warthogs right over here, and then somewhere in here, ooh, scimitar horned oryx right over here. So, the only thing I really had to do with these habitats were, add in some, like, enrichment for some of the species, such as the ostrich, which we now have in this exhibit. I use exhibit and habitat interchangeably. We've also got the springbuck and the blue wildebeest, which have already been having babies! Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Oh. So yeah, and then the southern rhinos were already in here. Then, we've got the new cheetah enclosure. Not much has changed. We've got the Serengeti. These guys are super happy in here. And then we've got this little, like, guest section, where guests can, like, get a bite to eat and some, like, water and other refreshments. And then right over here we've got the painted dogs. Yeah, they love it in here. Though, hang on. Oh, hard shelter and enrichment. They'll be fine. They'll live. And then we've got the Nile monitors over here. And we've got the meerkats and aardvarks. So I decided to do this thing with, like, the rocks, so that way they wouldn't, like, drown themselves in this water. And I gave them, like, a little bit of a little, like, water fountain type thing. So yeah, yeah, I must say, like, all this hard work definitely paid off, because this looks way better. Everything is now, like, nice and organized. We've got, like, the different sections. So we've got the Sahel, we've got Southeast Africa, we've got the Kalahari over here, and we've got the Serengeti. So yeah, so that hard work definitely paid off. And like I said, I'll definitely do the very, very minor Samurai Sanctuary update off camera, because it's so minuscule. But yeah, that's going to wrap up today's video. Really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If so, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see some more Minecraft, Planet Zoo, and Jurassic World Evolution 2 content. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out.